These guys are playing well. No one's debating that. But they're not going to. They're not going to keep doing it. So you could sell high, or you can just brace yourself for the inevitable level of suckiness that's going to come. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and after this I'm heading straight to the diary room. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first order. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We are available on all platforms. We are part of the number one sports podcast network, the Locked On Podcast Network. So thank you to you guys for making us number one. It is a sell high show, or more importantly, or more accurately, we're talking about a regression show. If you do a sell high trade, what do you do? They're bloody hard to do. The reason why a sell high trade is hard to do, because think of the pitch. Think of the pitch. Hey man, I got this guy. He's really awesome, but I don't want him. Can you have him? Can I give him to you for a worse player in return? That's realistically what it is. You are trying to convince another person that you are giving them a player that is better than what you're getting back. Most people with a functioning brain would be like, yeah, no, don't know about that. Don't know about that. Like, you should look at it and go, that seems fishy, right? Very hard to do. The way that it is easier to do is if there's a disagreement about whether a player is going to drop off. And that happens, especially in situations when somebody already rosters that player. We've seen it already over time. I don't know if anyone's heard of someone by the name of Khalil Ware. Ryan Rollins. No, they're a bit too good. They're a bit too good. Their role has to stay the same. They have forced the coach. It has been forced. All right? But you have to have that player on your team to have that belief. So, when we do a sell high show, if you can pull it off, always take an opportunity to pull it off. If you can send the trade as well, do it. But it's more about if you've got these players and you are riding the crest of emotional brilliance that they are providing, get ready to get turkey slapped back to reality, because it's just not going to hold at this level. And that, I hope, is a great way for me to come in and introduce what we're talking about. But before we do that, before I give you the 6 names, we're going to look back at how we did 2 weeks ago, because I used 2-week windows here. So how did we do when we did this show 2 weeks ago? Well, pretty well. I think we nailed the drop-offs in this one pretty okay. The first name we had 2 weeks ago was the Don, Donovan Mitchell, who had been absolutely flying. And to be fair to me, or realistic to me, him going from the 8th best player to the 10th best player is not really a win. It's not. It's about the same. Did he drop off? A little bit, but not enough to matter. I think that Don is going to settle more towards the back end of the middle to back end of the second round versus middle to back end of the first round. It has not happened yet. But you will also note that during this time, Jarrett Allen has been out. Darius Garland has been in and out. Max Strus has not returned. Sam Merrill has been out. So I still think that Don will not hold at this number. But, we didn't lose out in a big way here. The others, cooked. Trey Murphy was 14th. 33rd since then, and now injured. So I think Trey can even fall a little bit further. Maybe not too much, but a little bit further. The big Areola, Con Knipple. This one was easy. This one almost falls into the Khalil Ware Ryan Rollins basket. We knew that Knipple was doing the thing where his minutes are up, his usage was up, and his shooting was absolutely through the roof. And Ball and Miller were going to come back and the shooting was going to drop, and all of that happened. So he's still very good, but he went from 31 to 71. Emmanuel Quickley. I like Emmanuel Quickley, but there was stuff that he was doing had no shot of holding. There was nothing to do with doing the thing. He just was doing stuff well above what his value is. He was 36th. Since then, he's 103rd. The reality to me is he's like a little bit better than 103. So he's sort of shot past where you want him to go. And the last one is an interesting one, Dylan Brooks. I would say you wouldn't look at Dylan Brooks and say he's been bad since then, but he was 61st and he's 148th since then. Now, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in Phoenix with Dylan Booker. No, the other one. Devin Booker's injury. The problem here is that they don't play. They play one game in the next 7 days, and that's on a 12-game Friday. And yeah, you need to be rostering Brooks, but eventually when guys return, Allen, Booker, Green, I don't think that Brooks will remain a rosterable guy. But he's already had a drop-off there, and now we're in a weird, weak scheduling point for the Phoenix Suns. We're going to go for the first sell high. We're going to go to San Antonio. There was some weird reporting yesterday about Victor Wembanyama that people absolutely showed an inability to read. Oh, Wemby's not coming back until Christmas. Okay? That report has been put onto ESPN. In their injury reporting, it's been put onto Yahoo and Roto World in the notes. That is not what the reporter said. The reporter said, if I had to bet that Wemby will play in the NBA Cup, I would bet against it. He said, if I had to bet that he'll be back by Christmas, I would put everything on that. That doesn't mean he is back at Christmas. That means that by Christmas time, Wemby will be playing. But for some reason, that was taken to believe that Victor Wembanyama will not play until Christmas, which is 100% not what he was saying. In saying all of that, both Wemby and Steph Castle currently are out for the Spurs. Oh, in case you didn't know, I'm talking about De'Aaron Fox. Wemby and Castle will remain out, and they're progressing, doing on-court work. I'm not exactly sure when they're coming back. But I'm also not saying that Wemby won't be back until Christmas, because he could be, but that is not what that report said. It wasn't even a report. It was a beat reporter guessing, providing timeframes, providing tent poles, I think, as he said. That's somewhere in the middle of those two things. De'Aaron Fox came back right at the time that those guys went out, and he's playing incredibly well. Fox is the 20th ranked player over the last 2 weeks. I don't think that that's him who he is. We saw the first couple of games when he came back and he was playing with Castle. He was sort of lost. His assist numbers were down. His usage wasn't there. And there's going to be a way to figure that out between him and Castle and Harper and Wemby. I think he's more of a top 50 guy versus a top 20 guy. He's averaging 26 points with 2 threes a game, 6.5 assists and 1.7 steals, shooting 48 and 83. I just think that scoring has no shot of holding at 26 a game. That's just not going to be the case. 22 maybe. Maybe. Will he attempt 8 free throws a game? Almost no shot. 1.7 steals? Almost no shot. The usage at this level? Almost no shot. And I don't know how it's going to work ball handling wise between Castle and Fox. He is flying at the moment. And remember, if you are selling high based on injuries to other players, you almost definitely have to take a short-term hit. You can't wait until the announcement comes. It says, Stephon Castle and Victor Wembanyama are playing in the next game. Go, well, guess it's time to sell De'Aaron Fox. You could do that if your opponents in your league were AI bots who don't know what they're doing. And for some of you, based on some of the things that I see go down your leagues, I think some of them are. But a real person with a functioning frontal lobe is not going to go, oh yeah, I think that'll be good now that those guys are coming back. They're not going to think that. Right? It's just not what's going to happen. You have to take a hit in the short term. And there's always risk involved in that. Because you might say, oh, okay, I'll take a hit in the short term, and then Castle suffers a setback. Wemby doesn't come back until Christmas 26, and you've lost out. But you almost certainly have to take a short-term hit to make a sell high actually a feasible argument in a negotiation. Fox is riding high from having the number one usage player out, and the other guy who can be the point guard, other usage player in Castle. He's taking advantage of it, absolutely, and adding some defensive stats on top and putting together good numbers. Lo and behold, though, that's not the only San Antonio Spur we're going to talk about today. But I'll save the next one for after I tell you that today's episode is brought to you by the big fellas, the legends, over at Game Time. The World Cup is returning to North America for the first time since 1994, and there are now 48 teams in the World Cup. That is, it's a big boy, but getting tickets is hard. It's an annoying feature. That's where Game Time comes in. The Game Time app is clutch, giving you, the fans, a real advantage when it comes to snagging seats. With Game Time, you can track price drops in real time. Get alerts when the great seats open and buy tickets the moment that they hit the app. It puts the power back in your hands and makes going to the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. Go through and check the seat view as well for all the different stadiums right across the country for all the different games and see what tickets you're going to actually be buying. And that price on game time is upfront with all the fees included, so you don't get a surprise at checkout. So take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets in every match, concert, and event with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the app, make an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go, Game Time. Just adding in extra keywords in the closing tag phrase now. I see you, Game Time. I see what you're up to. Should we do more sell highs? Should we go back to San Antonio? And I think you know who we're going to talk about. I hope you do. It's not him. It's not the pencil. We're talking about Devin Vassell. Because Devin Vassell, I had significant doubts about this season, and that is weird for me to say as a big Devin Vassell guy. I think Devin Vassell and his role has been dicked around a little bit in San Antonio. But with Castle gone and with Wemby gone, this man is a top 40 player. He's averaging 34 fantasy points. I don't think he's a 30 fantasy point guy rest of season. I don't think he's a top 120 category league guy, to be honest. He is averaging 20 points a game. He is hitting over 3 threes a game. He is at 0.8 blocks with 1.3 steals. He is shooting an unbelievable 51% from the field, 100% from the free throw line, and 49% from three over the last 2 weeks. If you want an example of somebody doing the thing, he's doing it. Guys are out. Usage is up. Scoring is up. Efficiency is through the roof, so he looks awesome. What's going to come down? Everything. 64% true shooting, 49 from three, 100 from the line, 51 overall. His blocks will come down, his threes will come down, his scoring will come down. He might not even be a rosterable guy when Castle is there and Harper is there and Fox is there and Wemby is there. Because they've got to still give minutes to Barnes and Johnson and Champagny. Harper's minutes are going to ramp up. If I was trading away Devin Vassell, I would take any top 90 player, probably any top 100 player, honestly. If he's on my team, I'm loving what I'm getting. All of the same sell-high risks are there that they are for Fox. The exact same thing. What if Castle and Wemby don't come back at any time soon? You are going to take a hit short-term. You have to take a hit short-term on this. No one's giving you top 40 numbers. No one's giving you top 50 numbers. Honestly, even if you let this play out a little bit longer with Vassell and those guys do remain out, he's not going to stay this good. Because he is doing stuff because of increased opportunity, but also just hitting every shot in the world. And every shot in the world being hit has nothing to do with those other guys being out, which is part of what the thing is. So he's just not going to do that. He could have a run of shooting 43% overall from the field, 34% from the three, and 80% from the line, while still having the same minutes usage opportunities. And then he's the 80th best player. To use a 1990s ad man voice, there's never been a better time to move off of Devin Vassell. Because it literally doesn't get better than this. And I want you to take a gigantic haircut if you are trading away. But it's not all about trading away. It's regression. Who is going to have the ass fall out of their numbers? Him. Ass gone, fallen, done, on the floor, finished. He won't do it. Write it down. I look forward to coming back to this in 2 weeks' time and seeing Devin Vassell ranked as the 170th best player. He won't be that bad. He might be. Because there's just so many things that can go wrong here. So many things. It's a great run. It's a 2-week run. He looks ridiculously good. He just will not do this. Very confident. And even if they remain out, he will not do this. It is the double whammy. It is the almost guarantee sell high regression. What is also important in these, if you might not have Devin Vassell on your team, that's true, right? I know that. 1 in 12 people or 1 in 10 people will have him based on leagues. What I will need you to be aware of is if someone offers you a trade that includes you getting back Devin Vassell, you need to look at that and go, I don't know about that. Have your skepticisms up. I know your skepticism isn't a real word, but just have the antennas up, right? Raise them up. Go, ooh, Vassell, yeah, he's cooking. You're right, good sir. But I'm sorry, ma'am, I won't be taking this deal because Devin Vassell is not going to continue to do this. And I think that's relatively obvious. This one is an interesting one because the man has been injured, but the man is now back. And the man is putting together some of the best numbers that he's had in the last few years. And part of the reason that I'm going to include Andrew Wiggins in this show is not just because his numbers are really good at the moment. It's because I when I do sell highs and regression type shows, I use chatter as well as numbers. And I saw some chatter about Wiggins. Ooh, this man always underrated. Putting together such good numbers. He's going to have a top 80 season, just does it every year. And I looked up and went, Willie, does he? Is he that good? Because at the moment, yeah, like he's killing it. He's the 31st ranked player over the last 2 weeks. He's averaging 38 fantasy points. These are ridiculous numbers from Wiggo. He is the reason that Cal Ware played 16 minutes last game. But let's break it down. We talk about Fox and Vassell, and we know that Wemby and Castle are out. We go to Miami, and nobody's out. The guys that were out were Wiggins and Hero, and they're back. So this is a different story. So maybe the sell highs are a little easier. Let's break down what's happening here. He's averaging 1.5 blocks a game. All right, not automatically just go, okay. Could he be a 1 block per game guy? Maybe. 1.5, insane. Not going to do it. He's combining that with 1.3 steals. Now, 1.3 steals is not a high number, but adding almost 3 combined steals and blocks, we don't say the ST word. We don't say it unless we're going to go with arse bounds. We don't say it. Those numbers just aren't going to be able to hold there. And Wiggins is doing the other thing. 88 from the line. Bro, this guy's been like a 72% guy at times. He's hitting 41% from 3. All right? I don't buy that either. And he's at 54% from the field. There's just so much about those numbers. And again, it's one of those ones that maybe is a little bit easier because we're not sitting there with the Heat and going, oh, but what about when? Like, cause there is nobody coming back. Terry Rozier ain't walking through that door. That's not happening. Wiggins is at 59% on his twos. He's a 37% three-point shooter for the season. Last season, he shot 37. The year before that, he shot 36. The year before that, under 40, 39.6. His twos, he has been at 50 and 50 on 2-pointers the last 2 seasons. So when you're rolling at 59, I'm going to just go ahead and say I've got a level of skepticism about it. He's at 73 from the line this season, but 88 since he returned from injury. He was at 76 and 75 and 61 the last 3 years. This is an incredible hot streak with big block numbers, big scoring numbers, big percentage numbers, with a 64 true shooting, which has no shot of holding. None. Can Wiggins be a top 100 guy? Maybe, yeah. Yeah, I think it's possible. Top 50, no chance. Top 60, no chance. Top 75, I doubt it. If I could get a top 100 player back for Wiggins, who has a bit of a history of some soft tissue stuff over the last 2 to 3 years as well, and the chance that if he does have some struggles, Spo may go back to the double big alignment, I would be very interested in getting a top 90 player back. I'd aim a little higher. I'd probably go top 75 because it's only been like 4 or 5 games since he returned from his injury. But that doesn't preclude you being able to cash in on this. I'm sure you're all well aware. I highlighted when I can how reactive people can be to 1 game sample sizes. I've already had people telling me that Ryan Nembhard is locked in at these numbers, locked in this role rest of season. Okay, cool. Like, people will be very, very quick to plant a flag in something. Again, that's why selling high is harder, because hard for somebody in a fantasy league to plant a flag on a player they don't have on their roster. So that becomes difficult. What you got to hope for is that somebody is in multiple leagues and has Wiggins on their team in another league. And they go like, I know, this is great. Look at the big fella. He's finally doing it. And then you can sell him on the idea that he wants Wiggins in all of his leagues. That might be the way to go about it. We've got 3 more names that we are going to talk about as regression candidates. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by Robinhood. What if sports were traded like markets? You could put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house, though. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action, so when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew that the game, but I never knew there was a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. And now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. trade every play with Robinhood. Now available across the US. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. All right, we're talking sell highs. We're talking players who are overperforming, players who are regression type candidates. We've done De'Aaron Fox, we've done Devin Vassell, we've done Andrew Wiggins. Let's take a trip to the Ides of March and talk about Jerami Grant. Grant is someone who I admittedly wanted nothing to do with in the preseason, and he has been just significantly better than I thought. So is this me saying, Jeremy, I need you to prove me right? There's probably some of that in there. But I will tell you this part of it. At the moment, there is no Drew Holiday. Jerami Grant is starting because Drew Holiday is out. He was a bench player. There is no Scoot Henderson, and I have no idea what we're going to get from Scoot later on when he comes back. But it's not just that. They are not the only factors here. Grant is putting together the best run of the season. Over the last 6 games, he's up to 32 minutes a night. He's only at 29 minutes a night for the season. That is the Drew Holiday factor. Not even including Scoot. He's the 72nd ranked player in the last 2 weeks, averaging 32 fantasy points, with 21 real-life points per game, 2.5 threes, and you're even getting 0.8 blocks from Jerami Grant. He's 85 from the line, and he is quite good at shooting free throws. He's at 38% on threes. What is happening, though? He is at 26% usage and attempting over 7 free throw attempts per game. For reference, and I know it's a different team with a different coach, but it's not that different. Jerami Grant last season averaged 3.5 free throw attempts per game. He shot his free throws really well. But he's at double the number. And when you're hitting them at 86%, that's a huge impact. It is his second largest fantasy category contribution over the last 2 weeks, marginally behind points, which he's at 21 a game, which, of course, is fueled by the fact that he's getting to the line that many times. His block numbers they're strong. His rebound numbers are actually better than we've seen. This guy averaged 3.5 rebounds a game the last 2 seasons, playing 33 minutes a night. He's at 4.5, and he's played some center with Donovan Clingan out. We're just rolling at a level with increased scoring, threes, attempts, usage, free throw numbers that is pushing him higher. Now, I have adjusted my projections on Grant. I didn't think he'd be a rosterable guy, and at the moment, I think he might be. I think he might stick with that rest of season. The Scoot one is the unknown factor as to how he gets utilized and what that means for Grant as we push forward. But at the moment, if you wanted to get a top 100 guy back for Jerami Grant, a top 90 guy back, you should be doing it. If Jerami Grant is rolling on your roster, you're enjoying this, but there are going to be very clear things that fall off here. The free throws will not be at 7 a game. I'm not sure that the rebounds will be there. I'm not sure that the scoring will be at 20 a game. I'm not sure he's taking 14.5 shots per game. He's at 12 for the season. He averaged 12 last season. That makes a difference. All of that extra usage and free throw attempts and even free throw percentage and 3-point percentage and all that stuff. It's all going to be important when we talk about the drop-off coming for Jerami Grant. So, be cautious about overvaluing. For now, look, again, definitely been way better than what I thought. I've been very wrong on Jerami Grant so far this season. And I think I'm going to remain wrong on Jerami Grant. But I don't think I'm going to be remaining wrong thinking that he stays at this level as a top 75 player. Remembering, in a 156 deep league, a 12-team league, he's currently rolling as a top half player. Your 6th best guy on a 13-man roster? No. I don't think that's real. Your 11th best guy, maybe. And we'll see if his knee soreness plagues him during March and April again. Is this the year he finally plays a game? In that time, I don't know. This other one is one, again, it's more of a, just be careful. Just be careful of this, because it is, and this is another one of the ones where we talk about it and we can look at the numbers that he's putting up and understand that there is a pretty long runway here. So if you do sell high on Peyton Watson, you could be in a position where you lose out for 4 weeks. Because Aaron Gordon and Christian Braun are both out long term. At least 4 more weeks for both of those guys. Watson is doing, I don't know that I've seen an example of doing the thing almost as well as what we're getting here from Peyton. Look at the numbers. Okay, when Braun went down, I didn't know what they would do in the starting lineup. Would they want a shooting guard size player, but they just went big, pushing Cam Johnson down. I went, okay, that's interesting. We can look at Watson. I'm not super involved. I'm not super excited about it. Gordon goes down and his minutes floor shoots way up. And that really makes him a must roster player. Just in case Peyton Watson on your wire, by the way, absolute must roster player. But over the last 2 weeks, the man is a top 50 category league player. The man is averaging 33 fantasy points. Why? Part of it is the increased minutes floor. Absolutely it is, right? There is a huge part of it that's what's happening. But that's not everything. Again, it's the hidden stuff. The big fella's hitting 44% of his threes. Who thinks Peyton Watson's a good shooter? Again, those numbers tell you that he is a good shooter. Your brain probably says not really. He shot 35 last season and 30 the year before. He's at 38 over the course of the season. In fact, even over the last 3 games, he's down to 30% because that number was just not going to hold. But we are on a huge run here. He is also usually a really good shot blocking player. Not really doing that at the moment. But look at these numbers. 68 true shooting, 65 on twos, 44 on threes, 92 at the line, 57 overall from the field. That is insane. That is crazy. His last 3 seasons, 2-point percentages, 53, 55, 51. Last 7 games, 65. As a starter, 62. Now you could say it's the Nikola Jokic effect, and I'd say sure. But also no. It's just that level of jump. And while there is a factor there, it's not like he hasn't played with Jokic before. He has. He played 24 minutes a game last season. And guess what? He crossed over with Jokic. He's just on a real heater. And that level is just not a realistic expectation. 2 threes a game and 7 rebounds also. I think you can look at the last 7 games, and I am doing that. But his last 3 games, he's at 13.7 points with 1 3, 5 rebounds. Shooting 52% from the field on 30% from 3. All right, there we go. That's better. That makes you a top 100 sort of guy over this period, not a top 50 player. And I think top 100 is realistic while Gordon and Braun are out. One of them comes back, he becomes 120th. They both come back, he's 160th. I think all that's realistic. But at the moment, the floor is up, the usage is up, every shot seems to be falling, his rebounding numbers are up. You should be very aware that you will lose out short term, almost certainly if you trade him, because you're not going to get a top 50 guy, you're not going to get a top 80 guy for Peyton Watson. It's not going to happen. You're just not going to do it. But you should be inquiring about it. If you can go look at on Yahoo on the trade market of recent trades for him, and some of them are very weird, there's very weird valuations, like Peyton Watson straight up for Jaden Ivey. That doesn't make sense as a trade at all. I wouldn't do that. No reason I'd do that. But then Peyton Watson and DeAndre Hunter for Steph Castle, I probably would do that. Peyton Watson and Rudy Gobert for Darius Garland, I probably would do that. There's just weird trades that go down all over the place with these things. Peyton Watson for Jamal Murray. And there's Peyton Watson and Amen Thompson for Jamal Murray. Weird trade. Very weird trade. So I think one of the things you can do also with a player like Watson at the moment is you can confuse people. You can get something out of it. But you got to sort of mix it in with other players. But this show is not just about trades. It's about understanding that Watson's cooking. He's putting up ridiculous numbers. But calm down. We need to settle on where he's at and understand when we plan our team out and plan our value out and look at where the team is going and where your squad looks, that you can't rely upon this. Even while those players are out, you can't rely on this. There's a lot that is going to have to change, or that will change even before those guys come back. So you've got 2 windows. You've got form regression and then minutes regression. And they're going to come staggered over the next 4 to 6 weeks. We've got one more guy to talk about. It's our 9-cat fluffer. What do I mean by that? It's the player who, according to the Yahoo rankings, the incorrect category league rankings, which I have stressed a million times to you, they are incredibly misleading and incorrect and do not reflect value in head-to-head category leagues one iota. And this is a player who is positioned just at an insane number. And his name is Keegan Murray. Now, am I telling you that Keegan Murray is a sell-high player? Yep, I am. How high? I don't know. Because his 9-cat ranking over the last 2 weeks, and he's played 6 games in that time, is 14th. My head-to-head ranking has him 39th. I think a far more realistic representation. It is important to note that Murray is doing this with Domantas Sabonis out and largely with Dennis Schroeder out. I don't know what the Kings are going to do. They could decide they're going to trade everybody, but also remember, if they're going to trade guys, A, they're getting players back, and B, they need somebody to take those players on. Not an easy task. Is Murray going to remain as this high-end, top-level player that he currently is? And as much as I have said, I don't think that Murray is going to be able to bump his usage up with the players in this team, and I don't believe there'll be any more than a late-round guy, and I have been very wrong on that, I still don't think anyone with a straight face can sit there and go, yeah, this is Keegan Murray. Because he's doing all this. He's the 14th ranked player, right? According to those 9-cat rankings. But his usage is not even at 19%. So when Sabonis does return, when Schroeder is there, will it just go back to being 14%? 16%? How is he doing this? Well, 39 minutes a night helps a lot. Again, if you want to see the fluff number between the 9-cat and the Durant rank, he's averaging 16 points a game. That is below average. 2.7 threes, pretty good. 3.8 rebounds, putrid. 2.8 assists, bad. 0.7 steals, bad. 0.2 blocks, bad. They are all below average numbers. As I look at those numbers and realize that they are incorrect, and that is my bad. My bad, absolutely my bad. I'm going to adjust that because I'm just going off and telling you the wrong thing. Now we've got the right numbers up there. He's averaging 18.3 points, average. 1.7 threes, below average. 7 rebounds, above average. 1.8 assists, bad. But where it comes in is the steals and blocks is really cooking. 2.2 steals, 1.3 blocks. He's shooting 47 from the field, below average. 82 from the line, marginally above average. And 26% from 3. Terrible. Terrible. So, again, he's the 14th ranked player. How? Well, he's averaging, I think he said 1 turnover for the season. 1 turnover. Which, of course, let me double check that. 2 turnovers, my bad. He's had 2 turnovers for the season. Oh, no, he hasn't. He said 1. He had 1 turnover in his first game and hasn't turned it over since. Right? And that makes his numbers and his ranking look way better. But there's this stuff here that's not going to hold. Keegan Murray averaged 0.8 steals per game last season. He's at 2.2. To be fair to him, his deflection rate per 100 possessions is up from 2 to 3.8. So he's almost doubled his deflections. His contesting at the rim is up from 7.1 to 8.9. So, seeing his block numbers go up to 1.3 is really interesting. He was at 0.9 last season. But you're going to need those numbers to hold. You're going to need him to literally never turn it over, which is what is currently happening. He averaged 0.8 per game last season. And I think that's just an unrealistic thing considering that his time on ball this season is up as well. His time on ball last season, 7.8%. His time on ball this season, 10%. Remembering though, that is still a very low number. That is below average in the league. His usage is still below average. So he's putting up numbers that show him as a top 15 player. Even in my rankings, it shows him as a top 40 player. Largely because of the steals and blocks numbers. If you could get any top 30 player back, you do it. If you can get any top 50 player back, I would absolutely be looking at that. I probably would. I'd probably look at a top 50 guy back from him. Let's say top 40. But use the discrepancy. Use the 9-cat rankings. Use the fact that steals and blocks get overvalued. Use the fact that turnovers create an insane valuation of a player to get value back on Keegan. Sorry about those incorrect stats that were up there before. I will now admonish myself with 1,000 lashes. All right, that is the Sell High Show. They are names that I've talked about. Devin Vassell, De'Aaron Fox, Jerami Grant, Keegan Murray. 2 other names that I've just forgotten. Peyton Watson and Andrew Wiggins. I need to go have a beer. It's 7 in the morning. Probably not a beer. Guys, hit the thumb up, subscribe, leave a comment down below. We are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Sleeper sucks. See ya.